My name is Emma Flaherty, and I will be discussing the question, should every woman in the world have the right to an abortion? And I will be talking about the economical side. I'm in a group with Carlota, who will be talking about the cultural side, Carmen, who will be talking about the political side, and Charlie, who will be talking about ethical. After doing some research, I found that the economical aspect is a very important part of the abortion discussion, and that every woman in the world should have the right to an abortion because it's not only economically possible, but it also will benefit our economy. The first reason that we should have abortions be allowed worldwide is that it's economically beneficial. According to the United Nations Population Fund, the average amount of money that a woman will miss out on from being pregnant makes up 1% of the gross domestic product in countries like China, which have large economies, to 30% of the GDP in countries like Uganda with small economies. Another reason is that it creates jobs. With this, more women will be able to get abortions if they are internationally legal. And so those more women will need more clinics to go to. Those clinics need more people to staff them. There's more jobs that are created by the staff. Another reason from the United Nations Population Fund is that if young girls were able to wait until their early 20s to have kids, the increased economic productivity would equal more than $3.5 billion in Brazil and $7.7 billion in India. And that is a lot of money that will be going back to our economy. Family planning will bring out domestic divide, which is an increase in the economic productivity which occurs when more people are joining the workforce and less people are in dependency. The second reason is that it's economically possible. There are already programs that work around the world for this goal of having international abortions, such as the Sexual Reproductive Health Program in crisis and post-crisis settings, known as SPRINT. There is Planned Parenthood and International Planned Parenthood, along with the United Nations Population Fund and the Mary Stopes International. These programs are funded by governments all around the world. In Australia alone, this year they have pledged to give $19 million over 3 years, which would be $9.5 million a year. And including this $19 million pledge, that brings their total to $26.3 million since 2007. The hesitation that people have is that there is a recent drop in funding due to the United States Mexico City policy, or the global gag rule. This has been a decrease of $600 million for international abortions, and that's a very big thing, and people worry that they won't be able to make up this gap. But since this plan has been passed through governments of the Netherlands, Belgium, Sweden, Australia, Denmark, Finland, Canada, and many others have already pledged to increase their funding for international abortions. Another reason that people worry is sustainability. We can fund these programs for now. The governments around the world can fund them now, but that won't be able to happen forever. So when is it time that they will be able to be self-sufficient? Another reason is that there would be opposition from people who don't support abortion, such as strict Catholic or strict religious people. And from the Australian Catholic lobby spokesperson, they say that the increased funding from the Australian government makes the coalition unattractive for Catholic voters who don't want Australia's funding to be used for the killing of young infants. The last reason that some people hesitate is that after an undercover investigation from the program Live Action, which is an organization dedicated to ending abortions, they discovered that the health services that Planned Parenthood provides are actually not really there, and that the 3% of funding that's used for abortions that the program claims is actually 97% of what the program does. So this graphic here, according to these investigations, is actually not true. However, there is the point that Live Action is a program dedicated to ending abortions, and there is the very real possibility that they could have made up those numbers. There is no proof behind it. In conclusion, there are some valid reasons that have to do with the economy why international abortions should not be allowed. However, most of the reasons are actually ethical, and there aren't very many economical reasons. In fact, it's mostly beneficial for our economy for international abortions to be allowed. By funding these international abortions, the economy of countries will increase, and they will have a better world economy. And it's currently possible, at the very least, to expand the areas that that international abortions are accessible to. These are the sources that I used, and that's my presentation.